And now we just want to delve deeper into this discussion today. And I'll begin with Dr. Martin Olo, just dialing back the time machine back to 15 years. Could we say that the Constitution has lived up to its promise of transforming governance in Kenya, or has the political culture displaced, the constitutional design?
Thank you for having me, Debal, and to share with Kenyans that we celebrate today as the Katiba Day, and basically what we want to say is that we are happy to have been part of this process as it's been going around, as it's been happening. We have a constitution. 15 years down the line, that's not a short time. But the idea of a constitution has been long in coming. We're talking about right from independence times, we have had the idea of the constitution, but we also had the idea of trying to find a homegrown constitution. Remember, we started with the Lancaster constitution, then we kept on changing it, amending it until we didn't know how it looked like, what the original looked like. But eventually, after struggle, we said we needed something that's homegrown, and that's what we got in 2010. Has it changed the landscape? Has it changed our political culture? Has it improved our governance? I would certainly say yes. I mean, we've seen actions, we've seen movements that we had not seen in the past. For example, we've seen a judiciary that can bite, a judiciary that can state, and a judiciary that can act. We've seen that in shooting down amendments. We've seen that in annulment of the presidential elections. That's a judiciary that has been a little tougher than the previous judiciary. Have we seen an executive that is called to order? Absolutely. We have an executive that knows that people are watching, people are demanding participation. We've seen civil society move up and demonstrate. We've seen Gen Zs express themselves. There are a number of things that would not have seen the light of day in the past that we've seen on this side of 2010 after the new constitution. And therefore one can say we have seen some changes. Have we had it all good? Certainly not. Are there things that we have learned from? Absolutely. So being human beings, knowing that we have a document that we are working with, it may not be a perfect document, but the issue is that it is about us as a people. You can have a perfect document, give it to imperfect people, it becomes a problem. You can have an imperfect document, but give it to good people, and they can do something about it. So for me, I would rather work with the little that we can work with in the Constitution, rather than ask for more than what we can offer. It's about us. We are Kenyans. Let us not look for what else could be in this other than what our aspirations are. Are we living to it? I think those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves.
Fantastic. And of course, I was highlighting some of the successes and the challenges here. Katiba at 15, the hits here. We have devolution, which is one of the key cog of our current constitution. Power and resources were brought closer to the citizens. Counties began delivering services and infrastructure that were long lagging. We have Mandera, we have Wajir, for example, finally saw tarmac roads after a decade. We have Bill of Rights, and that also, we'll put it into focus today, looking at what has been happening in the current epoch of time with the abductions and, the disappearances, enforced disappearances as well. Judicial independence, we've just heard the president talking about Juris-Pesa that is happening. Corruption is so rough also and rife within the judiciary. So the question that we wanted to ask, and I'll pose this to you, Dr. Chepkwony, devolution, one of the boldest innovations of the Constitution. Has it genuinely delivered services and civic participation from your own estimation?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Debal, and thank you for having me for this session today. And to your question, first we celebrate the 15 years of devolution. And
but how did you celebrate it? I didn't even ask Martin today. Were you popping some champagne somewhere, or knocking back some beer?
At work. I was busy talking about law and that. I'm not sure I celebrated.
It must have been in
I
class.
think the same way we celebrate and give Thanksgiving when we wake up in the morning for life, devolution, and I want to agree with Dr. Chepkwony, is probably the best gift of this Constitution. And it is one of the ripest, and we can see it, we live it. The issue of the central national government and devolution from this particular aspect. So there, I want to agree, it's a celebration at everywhere. And sorry for interrupting, Dr. Chikoni, but you can see the benefits of the 2010 Constitution within the executive, within the National Assembly and Parliament, but I don't see the benefits within the judiciary at all, at all. And one of the biggest things of this Constitution was the setting up of the judicial, the JSC, yes, which was supposed to oversight the judiciary. To this date, you see the executive being slammed every single day, you see Parliament being slammed every single day, but you hear nothing about the judiciary. We have no access to information guaranteed for us under the Constitution of this Constitution of Kenya. I think it's Article 35, I'm not sure, under access to information. You would expect that the Judicial Service Commission would be out there. We do not know how many complaints have been made, I being one of them. To this day, I made a complaint as far back as I think 2018, never heard from them, don't know what's going on. We don't have, do we have a data anywhere, any sort of data that we can access on who complaints were made against? We hear so-and-so wants to be impeached in Parliament. We hear this is going on in the executive. Do you ever hear anything about the judiciary? Nothing. It's as silent as a dark, dark night.
Right, we have some of senior counsels who have been raising hesitations about also the affairs of the judiciary. But we'll come back to the judiciary much later. Let's just focus on the devolution.
Thank you. I appreciate those comments that counsel has mentioned here. On the issue of devolution, 15 years after devolution, first I want to agree with what Martin has talked about, that the process of developing this constitution was long. However, what we have, with the iniquities it has, it is still the best. So with the constitution that we have with the chapter on devolution, and the fact that first, we have allowed the implementation of that devolved system of government, it is a great achievement for this country. Debal, if you ask me, are we where we wanted to be then in matters of devolution? We are not yet there, but we are past the 50% mark. We are approaching 70%. Why I say is this. Anywhere in this country today, first, you mentioned in your opening comments that we are looking at the counties that were marginalized from the center then, at that time. You visit those counties now, look at the impact that devolution has brought. Counties that were not getting a portion of development money in the previous administrative structure. Now they have funds that are assigned to them that they can implement for service delivery. So the achievements on devolution, one is first that we have been able to take services closer to the people. We are able to engage and get the feedback from the public on their priorities. Tell me, during the previous constitution, whether there were any public participation, whether there was input from the public to the priorities on their development. No. So for me, devolution has done magic. As whether now we are there, that's what you are discussing. However, if you were to say what then would be the outliers on the impact of devolution. One, health. Look at health. As much as it has all its challenges, but the public accessing health care facilities in the counties, as much as we have challenges of supplies of pharmaceutical drugs and non-farms, but still they have access to the services of either nurses, clinical officers, or doctors. Besides even the facilities themselves. I sit here and I was privileged to serve as a member of County Assembly in Nandi County for 2 terms. I'll tell you, if you went to my county today, the number of new facilities post-devolution are impactful to the society where there was none. In an area like the constituency that I come from, we are about 5 facilities. Now, if you go there, there are sufficient facilities, which then impacts on the economy of the people, because the time that people would take to access the healthcare services has been reduced. Secondly, with the current approach by this government on community health promoters, where they are attached to healthcare facilities, then the citizens have time to be able to do their economic activities as much as they can easily be able to access health. That's one. Secondly, look at agriculture, which is devolved. The extension officers by the county governments who are saying, which is a devolved function, so county government officers now are extension officers, are able to reach to the farmers more closer than before. The cooperative movement has increased in the counties which were wide and far away from the farmers before. That is why we are looking at the growth in agriculture, which was not there. Talk about roads.
Well, but farmers are decrying also the availability of the extension officers. Like, in the previous regime, we had a good number of extension officers, but that number seems to be tapering off.
You see, if you look at the structure of agriculture that we are talking about now, Dibal, I'll tell you for sure. In the ward that I come from, before 2013, in my mind, I remember there would be about 3 extension officers who are widely known in the then division or district. But then, possibly there were more available to the communities. But the numbers that we have of extension officers now has increased. Having sat in the Nandi County Assembly, I'm aware that every ward at least employed 7 new extension officers. So the numbers have increased. Maybe now the farmers need more services from the extension officers that they are not getting.
Thank you.
But as to the numbers, they are there.
Right. Briefly, before we just go back to the news, I wanted just to raise the issue of a Bill of Rights, and to you, Jennifer Shamala. When we know from this constitution is one also of the progressive, most progressive globally. How well has Kenya, should we say, translated the text, to everyday realities when it comes to the Bill of Rights, from your own assessment?
When you say Kenya, you are lumping the entire country, the citizenry, and the 3 arms of government into it. And it's a very complex situation because the arms of government responsible for doing that is the enforcing the right to food, right to life, etc., is the executive and, of course, the National Assembly, yes, to ensure that that it's given life to. And if it is not, and if it is challenged, then it is the judiciary. So to a certain extent, and I want to agree with Dr. here, when you talk about the fact that the people are complaining about lack of extension officers, it's more usage of extension officers, whereas in the past you didn't have that many, and people are being made more aware of these these benefits or fruits that we are reaping from the 2010 Constitution. And so I want to say that indeed, and I agree, and I said it in my opening statement before Dr. spoke, I said devolution is the best gift that was given by this Constitution. As Kenyans from all parts of Kenya, whether you're from Northeastern, whether you're from Western, where I'm from, you will feel and we have reaped and we have seen. And this has been courtesy of the legislature and the executive. You must hand it to 2 arms of government, and I would give them 10 out of 10 for that.
Thank you. And of course, we'll come back and question what also the former Prime Minister has been saying, that, we have a very teensy-wincy little bit of a country called Kenya, and 47 counties is just too much for this particular map of Kenya. Why can't we just scale it down? And he's been gagging for at least 14 counties.
But we sat and we agreed as the people of Kenya, didn't we? There was a huge consultation.
You sat, but as we heard from Martin Olo, this was mutilated. Yeah, there was a Bomas draft. Maybe he knows something about the Bomas draft that we don't know. We'll look at it much, much later. Right. Now, the Chan 2024 trophy toured at the Cape Media Limited ahead of the final at the Kasarani Stadium this Saturday. The Continental Trophy was received by pomp and color, as Duncan Mutua will give us the feel and flavor.
As the anticipation builds ahead of the Saturday's African Nations Championship final, the CHAN 2024 trophy made a colorful stopover at the Cape Media, bringing the spirit of continental football closer to home. Accompanied by trophy ambassadors Victor Wanyama, Tanzania's Mrisho Ngasa, and Confederation of African Football officials. The first step after landing at the Cape Media Limited, they paid a courtesy visit to the group CEO, Mwenda Njoka.
Karibu sana. Hapa ndipo.
Visited the state-of-art studios of Radio 47. And at the TV 47 studios, Duncan Mutua, Fred Arocho, Tony Kwalanda, and the trophy ambassadors Ngasa and Wanyama had an in-depth discussion regarding African football, CHAN 2024, the final set for Saturday, and future prospect of African football. With the beautiful trophy displayed at the studio, Victor Wanyama gave in-depth explanation of the trophy design.
Tazama kikombe iko na laini zikipitana ni 54, kwa hivyo ina maanisha ina represent the African countries. Yes. 54 of them. So hiyo alafu pia tuna